Hello friends, so welcome to the copy discussion. This is the discussion of Hemant Kumar Shahu, who in the year of 2023 has secured the rank of 722. Let's discuss how the things can be done here. Now, Hemant sir has scored here quite a remarkable marks. Okay, he has written the answer for the question. The rich alluvium soil aided by climate of the region makes coastal plain of India as one of the most fertile plains of the world. Discuss, also explain why the west coastal plain is less fertile to agriculturally not prosperous unlike eastern coastal plains. Now, in this we need to understand the demand of the question, what the question is trying to ask. Okay, so question is trying to see the basic aspect of the alluvium soil where it is being aided by the climate of the region. Okay, we see that the alluvium soil are present in the region where the water is flowing. For example, the complete northern belt of India. Okay, as we can see in the diagram which has been addressed here, the complete northern belt of India, it is consisting of alluvium soil and it is also being provided by aided by the climate of the region, making it as the makes coastal plain of India are the most fertile region. Now, not only the northern plain of India, but also the coastal plains. For example, the Mahanadi Delta region, which is also being addressed here, the Ganga Brahmaputra Delta region also addressed here. Then we have Krishna Godavari basin, which is present in the region of Tamil Nadu, which is also being addressed. Now, apart from this, if we look, we can also address certain other rivers like the Kaveri river, which is also forming a quite good delta system here, a quadrilateral delta. So, here we need to see and discuss that, explain why the western coastal plain is less fertile. Okay, western coastal plain, this is the western coastal plain which is less fertile to agriculturally not prosperous while eastern coastal plains are. Okay, the eastern coastal plains, they are quite more fertile. This is happening because of the presence of the because of the flow of the rivers, which is also making the deposition of alluvium soil. So, this is basic a premise of the question, where the question is quite good question has been framed here, and it is signifying that what is the demand which is being catered here. Like in the previous year's questions of UPSC, it has been said that what are the soil characteristics, what are the agroclimatic zones. So, these questions have been already framed. So, on the same path we see this question has been framed, and we can see certain aspect which has been highlighted by Hemant. So, what an introduction is given here, that rich alluvium soils are the most fertile regions accounting for rich agricultural productivity in the northern plain regions as well as the coastal plain regions of India. Now, this is a quite good introduction, as we can see. Here the highlighting of the rich alluvium soil according to the regions, according to the agricultural productivity is provided in a elaborated manner. Now, certain geographical aspects with respect to the formation of alluvial soil is also being provided. The distribution of alluvial soil in India is being provided. Okay, so let's see what are the characteristics which has been written by Hemant. So, alluvial soil is formed due to heavy sediments, deposition of large rivers, that is Ganga, Brahmaputra, Godavari, in the middle we can say middle and older stages of the rivers. Yes, we can see when there is the rivers are flowing from mountainous regions, they are taking up sediments, the process of erosion is dominant here, and when these rivers they are moving into the plain regions, here the process of deposition is dominant here, that is the mature and older stage in this part. It is also being highlighted in this answer in a very good manner. Now, next part we say during the youthful stage. Now, youthful stage, as we look at, it is talking about the mountainous regions. The rivers cut down sediments through vertical V-shaped valleys and deposit it in the progressive journey. As we have discussed in the previous diagram, yes, this process is being done and it has been connected in a very good manner. Warm humid tropical climate is the coastal region also add to its fertility. Now, because of the presence of certain temperature, certain climatic condition, certain precipitation conditions, it results into the betterment of these soils. It makes this soil more humid and more humus content is present here. Now, next we are talking about the agricultural productivity. Now, here it is seen that it is the most fertile region of India, accounting for almost 40% of agricultural productivity. Yes, this is a quite true statement, because this region, if we talk about the alluvium soil presence in India, it is almost around 42%, and the productivity which is directly coming out of this region, it is almost similar to that same data. So, which is also being highlighted with data. Now, this is a very good point. Now, major crops grown here in this region, it includes rice, wheat, sugarcane, pulses, cotton, horticultural crops also, which is assigned to particular region. For example, the subtropical and temperate region, it is consisting of more production of rice, while the coastal regions and the eastern regions, the delta of Ganga and Brahmaputra regions, here the subtropical climate is resulting into the production of the rice crops. So, here we see this factor has been also highlighted, but there are certain points like include more points like deltas. Okay, it has been highlighted here by the reviewer. Then what are the biodiversity due to this rainfall pattern? It is also being ascribed to a certain extent, it can be added. Okay, mangroves, okay, lagoons, it has to be included here. It could be included here. That is a very correct thing. That is very correctly highlighted here, that it was needed to be included. Now, western coastal plain, as we talk about, and the productivity compared to the eastern coastal plain, we can see, as in the answer we can see, eastern coastal plain is more fertile as compared to western coastal plains. Now, giving reasons, the extensive plain regions, okay, one of the good reasons, zone of upliftment for deposition of sediments, yes, it is quite correct. Presence of numerous large rivers like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc. Mahanadi, okay. There are certain smaller rivers which are flowing more in the eastern coastal regions, highlighted in the diagram, that yes, these regions are having high presence of rivers and they are resulting into high productivity compared to the western coast, where we see the presence of the mountains like Western Ghats, and these mountainous regions, they are having less number of rivers, because through these regions the rivers just flow towards the eastern direction, which is also being highlighted here. Now, the western coast being zone of subduction, where numerous rivers originating from Western Ghats emerges into Arabian Ocean due to steep gradient of basin. Now, this statement is quite important. It is being added here. Now, Western Ghats are hard mountainous rocks, inhibit percolation of water. Also, it is lacking into a kind of different soils. So, soil can also be highlighted here, as it is also being highlighted by the reviewer. The presence of the raw materials in western side makes it suitable for industrial activities. Now, this is also one of the good thing which we can see here. Yes, the geology is being highlighted, and also the implications of the geological structure resulting into the presence of the industrial zones, industrial activities is also highlighted. Now, conclusion, as we can see, alluvial soil having very high agricultural productivity largely influences Indian economy, government fiscal support and food security of India. Now, this is what we can see here is a quite good conclusion. Now, here we can also add something which is being highlighted here, as the question was with respect to the alluvial soil. Now, impact of alluvial soil which make it best fertile zones of the world could have been added in the conclusion. Now, because of these certain improvements which are being provided here, the score which is being given, that is 4.5, which is quite good and satisfactory score, and it provides certain arenas for development. Thus, this is one of the good evaluation which we can see here for the copy of or the answer of Hemant Sahu. Now, moving to the next question, we have discussed the concept of fronts. Okay, this is a question of climate or climatology. In what ways are the fronts related to the cyclones? Present a comparative distinctions of tropical cyclones with that of extratropical cyclones. So we can see the demand of the question here, it is quite clear. First thing, we need to discuss the concept of fronts. Fronts are basically we can see the two different masses of air having different contrasting and different characteristics with respect to temperature, presence of moisture, okay, and the areas which is being covered by it. Now after that we see the demand says that in what ways it is related to the cyclones. Now fronts plays a quite important role in the formation of extratropical or temperate cyclones, which is which we need to see in the answer. Now present a comparative distinctions of tropical cyclones with that of the extratropical cyclones, which is being asked here. Now there is the third in the third part of the question we need to make a distinction between the tropical and extratropical cyclones. So this form the basis of the question, a premise of the question, where we need to link certain concepts with respect to fronts, with respect to cyclones and tropical and extratropical cyclones and the distinction between them. Now here Hemant has done a quite great, we can say, a good initiative with the introduction, as defining the fronts are the regions of convergence of air masses having varying properties. It generally occurs in the subpolar low pressure belt region. Okay, so here he has also provided a diagram about the warm front, the cold front and the stationary front, that how these fronts are moving. He has also provided that how the in the fronts the air movement is taking place, that is how the fronts are behaving in a dynamic condition, it is also being provided. So this is quite good. Now here certain comment is being provided, avoid brief about typing of the fronts, also brief about types of fronts. Okay, so here as the fronts are being provided, but the briefing about this front is missing, so it is being provided in the comment. So there is a scope of improvement. Now next we move, front is related with formation of temperate cyclones, that is the second part of the question which we can see. So it consists of occluded fronts, presence of both warm and cold fronts with varying characteristics, which is also substantiated with the diagram here, that is the temperate cyclone, which is being which is providing here certain data, that is the formation of clouds, the presence of warm air or warm front, then the cold front, the presence of the different kind of clouds, that is stratus clouds, and the movement of the fronts which is being provided here. So in this diagram we can see it has been in a very simple manner, he has described that how the fronts actually form and results into the formation of temperate cyclones. Now in the next part we see it is generally wide, that is the dimension is given here in the temperate latitude. It occurs due to the formation of altitude Arctic front. An example of the formation of front, that is two example, the Mediterranean front and the Atlantic Arctic front is also being provided here, which is a good example. Now here we are trying to associate something, that is the warm front is associated with nimbus stratus clouds having gentle precipitation for longer duration, while the cold front is associated with cumulonimbus clouds having short and heavy precipitation, where we are signifying the precipitation which is occurring because of the temperate cyclones, which has formed because of the interaction of the different air masses in the form of the fronts, which is quite we can say a quite good thing. But here something is missing, which is highlighted, that is the part of the stationary front. Okay, quite good observation which was given here. Then there is a comparative analysis of the temperate and the tropical cyclones. So here a very good comparison which is simple, which is visible, and difference is quite good highlighted. Okay, so for the mode of the formation, the latent heat of condensation is the driving force in tropical oceans, which is quite good. Then in the temperate region, it is the formation of fronts in subpolar high latitudes, quite correct. Then direction we see it is generally east to west because of the presence of the westerlies. Then in the temperate region, sorry, it is easterlies. Then west to east because of the presence of westerlies. Now distance, the tropical cyclones they have shorter distance, but the temperate cyclones they are having a wider distance and their coverage is also quite high. The pressure bars, as we can see, the tropical cyclones, they have closed shaped isobars. Okay, closed shaped isobars, they are quite having in a smaller area there is faster gradients are being prepared. Okay, with inner lower pressure moving in circular direction around higher outer pressure zones. Now in the temperate zone it is V-shaped isobars, which is very clearly we can see a diagram could have been provided here. Okay, so how this is being done, it is only being shown here. Okay, diagram could have been also provided here with respect to this part. Okay, so this is the formation process which is being provided. Now later on we can see the direction of movement is also given here. Then the influences, that is the tropical cyclones or the tropical hazards and destruction of infrastructure and human habitation along coastal regions. Yes, it is quite true. So in the western disturbances in winter season in the northern India, so these are certain influences or certain we can say the impact which is being created because of this tropical and extratropical cyclones in certain regions. So here we can see them as an example. Now the tropical cyclones are catastrophic in nature. Yes, it is true. While the temperate cyclones are moderate and beneficial in certain cases, where the western disturbances, in the case of India, it provides rainfall in the winter season, which is quite good for the Rabi season. Okay. Now here certain comment is being provided that elaborate about the relationship of fronts with that of the cyclone. So this could be one of the factor, or one could be way for concluding the answer, which is also a better approach is being provided. So it can also be taken, but we can see overall the answer and the demand of the question is quite it is taken up in a high manner. Therefore we can see the answer, the marks which is being provided, it is quite better, it is quite 5.5, and it is upon the quality of answer which is written with examples. Thus Hemant has scored this mark. Okay, so guys, take this note, see the approach of the toppers, it will help you write answers. So thank you very much, take care.